Today, we're going to take a journey into our own minds, using this really beautiful metaphor from the Zen master, Thich Nhat Hanh. The idea that your mind is like a garden. It sounds simple, I know, but it has some pretty profound implications for how we actually live our lives. You know that feeling, right? When you just snap in frustration and then immediately think, whoa, where did that even come from? Or maybe it's a wave of anxiety that just washes over you and it doesn't seem to be connected to anything. So often, it feels like we're not really in the driver's seat of our own inner world. But what if there was a map? Thich Nhat Hanh's whole idea was that the key isn't to fight these habits head on, but to actually understand where they come from. He believed that once we see the mechanics of how our mind works, everything starts to get a whole lot easier. So let's start at the very bottom, with the foundation of this mental garden, the soil. This isn't just some passive background, okay? It's the literal ground from which every single thing in our mind grows. Now, this is where it gets really interesting because this idea is pretty different from how many of us in the West think about the mind. We often imagine our unconscious as like a dark basement where we shove all our trauma and weird desires. But in this model, it's not a basement at all. It's soil. It's a living, functional database that holds the potential for everything, the good, the bad, all of it. And this soil has a name. It's called store consciousness, or Alayavishnana. A great way to picture it is as a vast, flowing river. It's not static, it's totally dynamic. It's constantly receiving and holding on to every single experience, every thought, every word that makes you, well, you. And this right here, this is the real game changer. Nothing is ever truly lost. Every kind word you've heard, every flash of frustration, every lesson you ever learned, it's all in there. It all gets stored as a little seed, leaving an imprint in this huge field of our consciousness. Okay, so we've got the soil. Let's dig in a little and see what's actually in it. We have this fertile ground, and now we need to talk about the seeds. These seeds, called Bija, are basically the latent potential for every possible human experience you can imagine. And listen, we're not just talking about the difficult stuff here. Seeds of incredible joy, compassion, and wisdom are right there in the soil, sitting next to seeds of anger, fear, and confusion. So where do we get all these seeds? Well, it turns out pretty much everywhere. Some are ancestral, literally passed down through generations. Others come from our family, our society, and, this is the big one, we are constantly planting new ones ourselves with every single thing we think, say, and do. And here's a kind of mind-bending part of it all. Our consciousness is deeply interconnected. Your personal garden isn't fenced off from everyone else's. It's more like it shares soil with the whole world's garden. What that means is your seeds influence everyone else's, and theirs influence yours. And this is exactly why this whole metaphor matters so much in our day-to-day life. As the quote says, our happiness, our suffering, it isn't random. It is a direct reflection of the seeds that are strongest, that are most alive deep inside us. All right, so we've got the soil and we've got the seeds. But, how do these little dormant potentials actually become our real, lived, moment-to-moment reality? How does the garden actually sprout? Well, the mechanism for that is called habit energy, or vasana. And the metaphor for this is just beautiful. It's like perfuming tea. If you store jasmine flowers with tea leaves, over time, the tea just soaks up that scent. In the exact same way, our repeated actions perfume our consciousness, creating these powerful and often totally unconscious habits. So let's just walk through the chain reaction here. A seed is just sitting there in the soil, dormant, but then something waters it. Maybe it's a comment someone makes or a memory just pops into your head. That water activates a habit energy. And bam, a thought or a feeling just sprouts up into your conscious mind. And that's what our reality is, our entire emotional world. The joys we feel, the anger that flares up, the anxieties we struggle with, they are all sprouts. They didn't come from nowhere. They grew from the specific seeds that we, or the world around us, gave water and attention to. Now, I know this might sound a little bit hopeless, right? Like we're just products of our past conditioning. But this is the most empowering part of the entire teaching, because guess what? You are the gardener. The part of our mind that actually gets to do the gardening, the part that can consciously choose where to place its attention, is called mind consciousness. It's our amazing capacity for awareness and for intention. And hey, every good gardener needs tools, right? And we've got them. Mindfulness is like our watering can. We choose where to direct it. Conscious breathing is like an anchor that keeps us steady in the middle of a storm. And compassion. Compassion is the wisdom to know that all the seeds belong, even the ones we don't really like. And this is such a profound shift in perspective. The goal isn't to violently rip out the weeds of anger or fear. Honestly, trying to do that usually just makes them grow back stronger. The gardener's real job is much gentler and much more powerful. It's simply to choose which seeds to water. So when a seed of frustration gets watered by, say, a traffic jam, you can choose not to feed it with angry thoughts. You can use your breath to water a different seed instead, maybe one of patience. And when we practice like this, we're not just making little superficial changes. We're not just trimming the leaves. As this quote says so beautifully, what we're actually doing is creating transformation at the very base, at the deepest root level of our being. So you see, this whole framework isn't just a cool theory to think about. It's a practice. It's an invitation to look at our own inner garden with a lot of kindness and a lot of awareness. And it leaves us with a really simple but incredibly powerful question to take with us into our day. What seeds will you choose to water today?